Hey foodie friends, today we're gonna make some sourdough discard crackers. So let's get saucy. All right, foodie friends, sourdough discard crackers. There's a couple ways you can make these. This is actually the simplest way. So in each of my bowls right here, I have 300 grams of sourdough discard. So this is what you would pour off when you're feeding your starter if you have too much. I keep it and then reuse it for different things. So to these, I'm gonna add to one of them, I'm adding 3 tablespoons of melted butter. And then to the other one, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of melted beef tallow. We're gonna do a couple of different flavors kind of here, right? So for the beef tallow one, I'm gonna add some stuff into this itself. So I'm gonna do a kind of smoky, this is called smoky jalapeno ranch. So I'm gonna do a tablespoon of this, maybe a tablespoon and a half of the smoky jalapeno ranch. And then I'm gonna do a couple of teaspoons of just regular ranch, just to bump up that ranch flavor. This has good flavor to it, but I want a little extra, make sure it's got really good ranch flavor. So that's in there. And then for the one which, excuse me, which I just added the butter to, we're gonna do everything bagel seasoning, but I'm just gonna do that on top. I'm not gonna mix that in the cracker itself. So for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and stir this in. You wanna make sure that your butter and beef tallow or whatever you're using in these has cooled a little bit after you melted it. You don't wanna add it in there hot. So just get it good and mixed together. And like I said, this is the simplest way to do this. I've seen other recipes, which I might give a try as well, where you do extra flour and make more of a stiff dough and roll it out and bake these. But the easiest way to do it is just to use your discard, add stuff to it, and spread it out and bake it. So that's good and incorporated in there. So I'm just gonna incorporate my butter into this one. And for this, I always use unsalted butter, so I might add a little bit more salt on top, but I know this has salt to it too, this everything bagel seasoning. So I might just forego the salt and see how this goes, and then if I do these again, you know, add some salt next time, because I don't want it to be too salty, obviously. And we're gonna get a nice tang from this sourdough discard because it's already got that same flavor as what your sourdough starter would have, obviously, because it's basically just unfed starter. All right, so these are both good and combined. This is super fast, super simple. My oven is preheated to 350. So I'm just gonna I've got 2 sheet trays with silicone mats on them. So I'm just gonna pour this out. This is the one that doesn't have anything but the butter in it so far. So we're just gonna pour this out here on this tray and we're gonna spread it into an even thin layer. And you can do this with your spatula. I just have an offset spatula here. You could do this with your rubber spatula that you're mixing it with or whatever. But I'm just gonna use this offset spatula and we're gonna spread this out into an even thin layer. And I think we're gonna go just about the size of the kind of white area inside the sill pad here, the silicone mat. Just get it as even as you can. So we're gonna throw these in our 350 degree oven once we get them all spread out. And then we're gonna bake those for about 10 minutes. And then we're gonna take them out and score them with a knife or a pizza cutter to get where, you know, they're gonna break apart. And then we'll go back in the oven for another like 15 to 20 minutes until they get nice and golden brown and crispy. So this is super easy, super simple. Like I said, this one is gonna get our everything bagel seasoning on top. So now that that's good and spread out, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a good liberal sprinkling with our everything bagel or everything but the bagel seasoning. All right, there we go. That one is ready. So just set that off to the side. And then we're gonna go ahead and put this one out and spread it. And like I said, for this one, we're not gonna put anything on top because we already put the seasonings inside. It's got that smoked jalapeno ranch and also the addition of just some regular ranch powder, just to bump that up a little bit, make sure it's got a good amount of the ranch flavor to it. And you could put that on top if you wanted to instead of mixing it in, kind of up to you. These are really super simple and forgiving, and just give this a good spread. Same thing, just as evenly as possible. And like I said, we're gonna throw these in the oven for about 10 minutes, pull them out, give them a score, and put them back in and finish baking them. Now, I have seen other people too where they just spread it out, let it bake, and then break them up. So I might do that with one of these instead of scoring both of them into perfect little kind of squares. Maybe just let one of them kind of be a rustic kind of broken cracker. That would be fun, right? Kind of some bigger pieces, some smaller pieces. Once it's baked, it doesn't really matter, right? So kind of do whatever you think. So anyway, in a few minutes, we're gonna come back and we will score these, or score one of them. We'll see what I decide to do. And yeah, we'll be back in a bit. All right, foodie friends, so here they are out of the oven, our everything but the bagel crackers. You can see I already snuck one there to taste it, and these are the ranch. So this was actually really delicious. They're nice and crispy. The ranch ones, like I said, I'm just gonna break these ones up in 2 pieces. I think if I let them cool a little bit more, it'll be easier because these are still a little soft because they're not completely cool, but I don't know if you can hear that crunch. That smoked jalapeno ranch that I used in here definitely has the jalapeno. It's nice and spicy, good crunch. I use the beef tallow in these ones, so they have that kind of beefy flavor in the background. Absolutely delicious. And again, these everything but the bagel, or everything bagel, whatever you want to call it, super crunchy as well. You get that nice poppy seed, sesame seed, garlic, all that stuff in there. I think next time I do these, I'll add salt to them because this doesn't have a lot of salt in it. They're still delicious, but they could, I think, use a little bit more salt for me. Thanks as always for joining me on Getting Saucy with Chef Lynn. For this one, I'm just gonna put the recipe down in the description box below. As always, you can follow me across all social media at Chef Lynn Wheeler. If you want more of my recipes, go to my website, cheflynnwheeler.com. And remember, keep exploring, keep tasting, and keep celebrating the flavors that bring us together. So good.